Heather Langenkamp wants to return in Nightmare on Elm Street Legacy sequel. How's everyone doing? This is W.F.S, your doctor. And today I want to talk about Heather Langenkamp's idea about returning to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. She thinks she has one more chance and one more shot to fight Freddy Kruger. I would love to see that. I'd love to see them pull that off. Robert Englund has already said, I'm retiring my glove. I'm getting too old for this. But I just think that this would be an enormous, amazing sequel to bring back. If not a sequel, a movie on its own outside the franchise. Still, I think it would be great to bring Freddy and Nancy back. Fans are familiar with the ways that the particular Halloween film ignored most of the franchise continually. Instead, it acted as a direct sequel to the original 1978 film and further launching a pair of new sequels. Heather Langenkamp has noticed this success and explains to the Entertainment Tonight that she thinks A Nightmare on Elm Street should receive a similar treatment, and best of all, she wants to return much like Jamie Lee Curtis did in Halloween. If Nancy could fight Freddy one last time, she noted, I would really like that. So would I, and I think a lot of other people would too. She further compared the possibility to the most recent Halloween film. Gosh, I'd love to see a future in that. I've been really watching the Halloween saga that's been out, and I love watching Jamie Lee Curtis get to play that part. She continued, this age where I think we have so much to give to those storylines, but yeah, I wish I was in control of that. But unfortunately, it's one of those Hollywood, very complicated things. Fans have certainly loved seeing Heather Langenkamp return to the role over the years. She first reprised the role in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. It's often been considered one of the best films of the franchise. It was. It's not, if not the best. Well, I gotta ask all of you this question. What do you think? Do you think this is a good idea? I mean, Roberts even said a while back that, with computer CG the way it is, they could possibly do him as Freddy using his voice and then doing some CG, maybe younger versions of himself and adding his voice to it. And I guess the same thing could be said for Heather. I mean, I think the two of them were great together, and I loved the one line when the two of them were together in the new Nightmare. Robert says to her, I really think they would love to see us again in another movie. And Heather looks like, what, a romantic comedy? And Robert smiles and says, well, just because it's a romantic comedy doesn't mean it can't be a decapitation or two. Well, that still would be an interesting movie to see, but I'll stick with the Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert. And we really do need one. And honestly, I would love to see you back as Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund is the ultimate in horror, as far as I'm concerned. Myself personally, out of all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, 1, 3, 4, and part of 5 were the best ones. And what I mean by the part of 5, the way Freddy took out Dan, fusing him to that motorcycle, was just so brutal. I absolutely loved it. And they had an edition out, a special edition, or the longer version, which showed a more detail of how the bike was attacking him. Freddy was just so vicious. But of course, Dream Warriors was the best. Dream Warriors was the best one. How he took out Philip with the tendons, using him as a puppet string. And then Nightmare 4, Debbie, and how she met her end. The franchise started getting watered down after part 4. No argument there. But Freddy himself, even as comical as they turned him into, there was no one else like him. Nobody. And I just don't think the 2010 remake did it any justice. I want to see, and I would love to see, Freddy, Robert Englund, and Nancy back together again. Well, what do you think about this? Do you think Heather's got a good idea? More to the point, what would you like to see in another Nightmare on Elm Street? And here's a question for you, and I would love to hear your comments about this. What is your favorite one? Is there, if not a favorite film, do you have a particular favorite kill? Freddy was just quite genius about how he would attack the kids. So please give me your comments, and I would love to hear them. Also, if you could subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm W.F.S, your doctor, and I will see you soon.